Hey friends, favorite farmer Steve here, back for another edition of Better Get to Know a Garden. And I put it off as long as I can because I'm so depressed about the garden this year. But I know the fans are clamoring for an update, so I'll give you an update. It's probably going to be more disappointing to you than me. No, it won't. It's more disappointing to me. Uh, Fast recap, we have had May and June, some of the rainiest months ever, and you couldn't do anything. Finally put the plants out uh, literally on Memorial Day, which is late, but not so late, but then it just continued to rain. And I actually had two tomato plants rot off at the ground, and the others didn't like it at all. So the bottom line is we are literally a month behind where we should be and typically are. July, the weather hasn't been too bad. Everything's trying to make up for it, but at the end of the day, I don't think that we're going to get much yield, especially tomatoes. Tomatoes are just horrible. We'll be getting a lot of our tomatoes at the farmers markets. I can tell you that. But I will show you around what we've got, and you can commiserate or laugh, whatever makes you happy. Okay, hottest day of the year so far. I've let the sun go down and got these things off of the ground. And this is the first day I've been able to get down here. And as you can see, gravity wants to pull these. The stems are crooked. And I think that's the downfall of this, what's called a Florida weave, where this is the alternate way I was going to stake the tomatoes. So you basically run strings and then tie these things up on the strings, and they get taller, you put more strings, etc., etc. But these things were so badly damaged, and I think this one is gonna die. I really do. It rotted off, and you can see down here it's in really bad shape. I don't think it's gonna make it because it just got so much water. It just absolutely rotted off. And this one's not far behind. I don't think this one's going to make it. And this one's so wet, it just doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know if it's a tomato or a weed. But so I had a change of plan where I've got these up as well as I could. And on this row, I'm going to do baskets because I want some tomatoes, and I don't have a lot of faith in this method. And these I know will work at least as well as they've worked in the past. So we will see. There it is, side by side. Okay, this is our fun with chemistry section of the video. So I said I've been doing the eggshells incorrectly because the eggshells are calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate, and evidently they just take a long time to decompose. So what we're going to do is we're going to accelerate that process, and we're going to turn calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate into a water-soluble version, which is calcium acetate with household vinegar. So evidently, all you need to do, this is the official egg bag that I've used for like 3 years, is you put an amount, unspecified, in here, and then you put twice the amount of vinegar, and you let it digest, and it will dissolve the calcium into a water-soluble form that we will see throughout the year. Anyway, hopefully, let's see. This comes through. It is bubbling like crazy. It is this is your classic acid-base reaction, um, turning, releasing carbon dioxide. Oh wow, look at it go. Uh, so we're going to let this digest for quite a while. Obviously, you're going to leave the cap on here real loose, and it's supposed to take a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Then there's way too much vinegar in here. So what you do is you just use a couple teaspoons in a gallon, and then it becomes a calcium-rich fertilizer, which is great for tomatoes and such. Now, pay no attention to the weeds. I'm going to come out here and weed. Down here is some dill, believe it or not. I don't think we're going to get any dill out of it. This is where I harvested the garlic, so that's ready for replant in about a month or so. And here's the horseradish. It didn't care about no stinking rain. It's doing well, so we will get some of that. It's our second compost pile, more weeds than anything coming out of it, but I knew it was going to be like that. But what I discovered, I was piling grass clippings everywhere in the old compost pile, and it was just turning into a slimy mess. So I've got the two going, and it's doing much better. Enough oxygen can get down there to decompose the vegetable matter. So over here, the asparagus didn't mind the rain so much, and it did come back. It's going into ferns right now. Now, there's enough shoots coming up that I could still harvest some, but probably only about 2 or 3 stalks a week. Better just let them go through their little cycle and come back again next year. So asparagus season is done. Down here, some of the peppers good, some of the peppers not good. The shishito peppers doing well. There's some jalapenos doing well, and the cherished Anaheims not so much. They just did not do well as seedlings. So I put them out here. They're doing better. They like the heat. They like all of that stuff. But look at the difference in how far behind they are. I don't know whether we'll get any. And the Brussels sprouts, after I killed off the leaf lopers or the cabbage lopers that were eating the hell out of them, and you can see some of them have started back. I have to put some diatomaceous earth on there so that the caterpillars will die. Anyway, I guess we'll get some, who knows. Now, this is where it gets really bad. These are the tomatoes. And you can see these have hardly grown at all. I've got some that are doing okay. There's one of the rotted off ones. I left them there as a deterrent to the other ones. This is what happens to you if you don't grow. Got some nice ones going here. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And they're all different varieties here. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is the, quote, Florida weave, which I am sure I didn't do a very good job staking them, versus the baskets. And the ones in the baskets are doing better. I don't pretend to believe that just tying them up made all this difference, but kind of is what it is. Doesn't look real good for tomatoes this year, but I can finally put the tomato canopy up because they've reached the appropriate height. We did have a deer where there's a big doe in the neighborhood, and she's just made this neighborhood her own. And she hopped in here one night, ate a lot of the beans, ate the Swiss chard, ate some cucumber leaves. But if you can remember a year ago, these would have been over the top of the trellis at this point. That's how far behind we are. The squash is finally starting to get some set on some little squashlets. I planted these this variety of squash that says it's compact, so it doesn't just run everywhere as far as it can, and I like them better. They're easier to train. Here is just this is the worst. This was the Barbie pink popcorn. The seed, I replanted it 3 times. 3 times it rained and rained and rained, and being at the bottom of the hill, all the water came down here and the seed just rotted. We had like almost no termination. Now it's just a weed factory. So, okay, moving on. I'd say a few of these canning tomatoes are super salsa tomatoes, but really pretty poor. We're not going to get many of those. Did get some beans the other day. The beans are always, you know, they're survivors. And then, of course, there's the purslane, this weed that, and again, ignore the weeds. I'm going to weed it here in a minute. What is it they say that, you know, at the end of the world, the things that's going to live are cockroaches and rats. The other thing that's going to live is purslane. That stuff, if you don't get every last little tiny bit out, it grows back, and it grows back with a vengeance. There's a few beans I missed. I'll pick some more of those. Carol will love that. So the Swiss chard, again, terrible. Weeds, terrible. Weeds, terrible. The deer browsed this all down when it was about this height. Yeah, this doe, I mean, she can leap some tall fences at a single bound. It's starting to grow back, so I guess this is one of those things that you can harvest and, you know, cut it down and it'll grow back. Looking forward to that if we ever get there. And that's about it. So we are where we're at. Very depressing. It's hard to get motivated to do anything out here. One thing that has kind of paid off is the garlic. Did pretty well. These aren't as big as the original ones that I put in, but I'm pretty satisfied with their size on most of these. About another, I don't know. They're probably ready right now. I don't know if garlic is a main dish for Thanksgiving, but you can probably count on some. And that's about all the news that's fit to print, and it's really not very fit to, for anything, but thanks for your time. And anybody have any suggestions, especially about these tomatoes in my poor Florida weave technique, or any suggestions along those lines, would be much appreciated. And probably before we leave for Yellowstone, one more, and we'll see where we're at. Have a good one.